You're still watching the Eastern Business Report right here on the Afia Business Morning. The Ebonyi State Government has announced a ban on house and land agents starting January 2026. The aim, according to the governor, is to protect residents from exploitation and reduce the high cost of rent. But what does this mean for the real estate market, for jobs, and for the legality of doing business in the state? To unpack this, I'm joined now by Barrister Chidi Ujoatunmba, a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister Chidi.
Good morning, and thanks.
You're welcome on the program.
Thanks.
Before we begin our discussion, our correspondent in Ebonyi State went out to get the opinions of what residents in Ebonyi State think about this. So I'd like us to take a look.
It's okay.
The call for urgent implementation of Barr reflects a broader concern about the housing affordability in the state. As residents await action from the government, the hope is that eradication of house agents will pave the way for more regulated and accessible housing options for the people of Ebonyi. Barrister Monday, a legal practitioner and resident, emphasizes the negative impact house agent has had on the housing market, noting that the house agent has done more harm than good in Ebonyi State.
Many people, because of the high cost of house rent, is making them to find themselves in one room. And some of our young ones that are supposed to be in the state managing their minor business are going out from this very place to other states. So it's a welcome development anyway. It's a very welcome development. I urge the government to implement it, because the most problem we are having in the state is the implementations. It is not all about putting the law, but implementing it. So if government have put up such a policy, they should implement it.
Mr. Jacob Ogodo, a native of Ikwo local government area, voiced his concern about the increase in the rate charged by the house agents. He said increment in housing rate are becoming unbearable for the average Ebonyi citizens.
Problems we have these days, the hike in house rent, and even when you want to buy land, is as a result of the agent. Look at it now. The man that calls himself an agent has never put up any block. Then the landlord will now say, this is the rent for my house. He will now put his own. It is unbearable, making things difficult for people. So if government should be able to stop the activities, it will help to reduce the suffering of the masses. However, there is a problem. It is one thing to have a policy and another thing to implement it. This policy is a welcome development, but it will be difficult to be implemented.
Mr. Polika Philemon, a resident of Abakaliki, pointed out the challenges faced by individuals seeking a quality housing.
Welcome development, because recently it has been very difficult for residents in Abakaliki, particularly the capital city, living in houses. It's been very difficult for people to access affordable accommodation. You see agents charging exorbitant amount of money to secure house for people, you understand? And not only that, they even charge as high as more than what the landlord himself or herself charges, you understand? So, and that has led to a situation whereby house rent is on a hike in this town. So I think for the government to come up with this kind of policy, it's a welcome development. It's going to help at least ease the stress of looking for accommodation and even staying in Abakaliki.
Governor Nwifuru's administration is now under pressure to act swiftly to address these pressing issues. How this section of residents stand united in their demand for more transparent housing markets. Chijo Kenjoko, Afia TV.
Barrister Chidi, over to you. What was your reaction when you heard about this, and what do you think about this policy?
Okay, I think the governor of Ebonyi State is, he's making a right move, but in a wrong direction.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like trying to kill an ant with a sledgehammer.
Why do you
Because
say
when
so?
you run through the reports and the commentaries of people, you can bear me witness that they are primarily concerned about the charges of the agents, not their services. So the governor is about to make a very big mistake here now. You understand? You can close an existing ancient line of business, you understand, without a viable alternative that cannot stop the problem that people are complaining. Look, people are complaining that agents are charging them. If the government makes any policy without appropriate implementation, you understand, this is an organic business. Look, I wrote my thesis on agency. Okay, all he needs to do now is not to ban these agent people. All he needs to do is to bring out a law, a regulation that will stick them to a certain percentage. You understand? Both on rentage and on buying of land, including lawyers' fee, all things being equal. He needs to bring out a legislation that will put this into a very one single package and make every agent to be registered and also pay tax to Ebonyi State Government. So, you see, it's a circle. They are making money, okay, and the government is making money from them because the government will know them. You don't have to dupe any people. Look, let me tell you, if you hit them on the physical terrain, you understand, they will blend with the miasma. They will go on the internet. You don't have regulation on the internet, you understand? You can't kill a line of business without providing a viable alternative. I think the advisors of the governor of Ebonyi State is trying to overreact. They are overreacting on an issue. This agency is a long line of business that you cannot just come and kill with a ban. No, you are killing an ant with a sledgehammer. That's what the governor is trying to do. You need to develop this line of business. You understand? It will create employment. Okay, they will pay tax to the government, you understand? And they will lift people from poverty. There are people that I know that all of their life they have been agents. And they have depended on this line of business. So if we are experiencing a kind of a surge in rise of their fee, all we need to do, let there be a government intervention. That government intervention has to be like a legislation, not a ban. We're not in an autocratic or authoritarian system of government. We're not in the military system of government. We shouldn't be hearing words like banning. You understand? I am speaking directly to the governor of Ebonyi State. Please let there be a rethink. I know that the governor has a very wonderful plan in mind, but it's like having a good plan and then you are tilting it towards a wrong direction. You are killing a long line of business. At the end of the day, the state will give you a budget because they will definitely develop a channel upon which a landlord will now link directly to those who need what? Accommodation and who wants to buy land. That link will have a cost at the end of the day. And you may not be able to regulate it.
So, Barrister Chidi, from a legal standpoint, are you saying the state government doesn't have the authority to completely ban a line of business? I'm
speaking from an economic point of view.
Okay.
They have the right to ban a line of business. No one is going to argue with them on that, you understand? It's an executive power. Even though it can also be challenged in court. The agency law is something that we borrowed from the common law, from England, you understand? It's a long line of business. It's something that has come to stay. If it's overstretching and overreaching its boundaries, all we need to do is to let the government wade in and make a legislation, a law that will peg them to a certain percentage. Let's say 5% or 3% of the total rent that the person is paying. Mind you, is a one-time payment. It's not a recurring expenditure like rent.
But why do these people charge residents?
Because there's no regulation.
Outrageously.
Because there's no law. There's no regulation. There's no law. Let's make a law. Let's regulate the sector. Okay? Let's put laws in place. Let's set up a commission. Let them be registered and let them pay tax to the government. If they're going to make money from people who are renting, every land belongs to the government, okay? Every rentage and all this, there are laws regulating them. If they're going to benefit from the rent laws of Ebonyi State, if they're going to benefit from the land law of Ebonyi State, okay, let them be paying tax to the state government and let their agency firm be registered both with CAC and also with Ebonyi State government so that they can be paying tax, okay? Let them be paying tax. Let them be known. Let them be on the internet. Let them be everywhere so that there can even be competition. Someone can say, I'm going to get you a 3-bedroom flat with 2% of your rent. And someone can say 3%. Someone can say 4%. Depending on the level of their professionalism. Look, we are living in a multi-dimensional and a polarized economy. We shouldn't be using words like banning. It's outlawed. We should be using words like regulation, legislation. You understand? Let there be a kind of a committee that will be set up. Let people come. I'm ready to go there to canvass for the rights and for this law of agency. Let the governor understand that he is about to shut down something that if we set up just a small think tank, we can open up a very big business that can create employment, put money. That's what we call internally generated revenue of Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State can be making a whole lot of money through this. You understand? And there will be laws regulating them, and you can know where they are. You can even access them with the flip of your phone. You can access them. You understand? Pay either via online or through a designated bank account. A certain amount of money where they can provide their services for you. People are not complaining about the services. They are complaining about the charges. So the government should intervene to regulate the charges. What do you think about this?
So, Barrister Chidi, you've already shared your thoughts. Barrister Chidi, you mentioned something about the government creating an alternative, not just outrightly banning a line of business. So, if the government this is supposed to take effect, is going to take effect in January 2026 next year. So, if probably before then the government comes up with an alternative, do you think he should go ahead with this?
What kind of alternative would the government come out with? Let me tell you, the complaints of the masses, the clamoring of the masses is like a campaign. You understand? It's all over the media. Even if you are a landlord, some of your relatives who pay to get accommodation other places will complain even here in Enugu State. I wonder why they are not, complaining. Here in Enugu State, let me tell you, the charges of lawyers and the charges of caution fee and the charges of agents will make you want to go back and start operating from your village. Who will build a cart at the end of the day? So what we are looking at is that the real estate is a growing concern. You understand? It's a business that will definitely continue to blossom as long as population continues to increase. So we don't have to complain. I mean, come on. We are no more in 1970s than 1980s. This is mostly obsolete. You understand? When I hear the word banning something, you understand? That is not the route that the state government should tow. What they should do is to bring in experts on this area. You understand? Look at the concerns of the masses and then bring in a certain level of percentage of the rent that should be allotted both to caution, both to agency and to lawyer. You understand? And use one single legislation to tie up the whole thing. And his kind of a concern and vision to make life easy for people will be met. Because if you try to ban it, they will blend with the miasma. Look, do you know the number of people that are looking for houses every day? How much will it take for the government to develop a system that will bring all of them together within in real time? I don't want to go into that. I keep on talking to the governor of Ebonyi State. Please, I want the government to reconsider. They love the people. They want to do the right thing, but they should consider the possibilities of doing this. All they need is a legislation. Let a bill be sponsored in the State House of Assembly. You understand? And let the agency fee, let the lawyer fee, let the caution fee, and every other antecedent fee that surrounds someone getting accommodation be regulated and be pegged to a certain percentage, okay? And let the work of the commission to be, if you are charging beyond that percentage, let the commission come after you. So it's going to be a kind of a bipartisan relationship that will enable people to access these houses in real time and pay an infinitesimal amount of money that will not deter them from getting the actual accommodation that they want. If they hit them hard with a ban, they will blend and go on the ground and people will pay double what they are paying now. Look, I'm on the street. I'm doing this and I'm being honest with you.
So it's not going to
work. A ban is going to make it more difficult. Let them set up a committee. Let people come and complain about their concern. Let's have a continuous discussion on this between now and December, you understand? So that whatever will happen in January will be a culmination of the vision of the governor and also the concerns of the people. Agents is a growing concern. We should not ban it. We should regulate it with the legislation. That's where I'm coming from.
So, Brother Chidi, what challenges do you foresee this policy having in Ebonyi State?
The challenges I foresee it having in Ebonyi State is that if the government comes out with a ban, you understand, it will be like what we experienced in 2023 May. Subsidy gone. You think you have appeased the masses, and the real challenge will come. The real hardship will come. Because how will the governor keep track of people who are looking for houses in the whole of Ebonyi State with how many local governments in the whole metropolitan city? Do you know what? The real estate business cannot be couched with a ban. No. It's alien. Let it be explored with a legislation that can open up the business, unbundle whatever that is inside it, and let every party be happy at the end of the day. The problem that the government is going to have is that the people who are paying, let's take for instance, if the agents are charging them 10% right now to get them a house, you understand, the government will ban it, and you say that you're not going to pay any 10%, you understand. Mind you, even as I'm talking to you now, hundreds and thousands of people need house in Ebonyi State, even as we speak. So if the ban takes effect, you understand, how will you deal with the people who will need house between the time you bring an alternative, you understand? So a lot of people are going to suffer. A whole lot of people are going to suffer. And the effort, the energy, the budget and the finances, the human resources that the government is going to put to cushion this effect, you understand? We'll have a budget at the end of the day. Money is going to be invested. It will not be the government, investing instead of agents, you understand, exploring and paying tax to the government. Don't you see the line of business? You can turn this whole chain thing around into a going concern, creating employment, you understand, putting them on a particular percentage, and also regulating it with a law that can enable people to complain even when they are charging higher. We cannot continue to use military languages like ban when people are complaining. My heart goes out to what people are experiencing, okay? I have been a lawyer. I'm managing so many properties. I've been in a place where landlords are consistently trying to increase rent. And I'm trying to tell them there are laws regulating this sector. You can't increase rent without 3 years being elapsing, okay? And without you making an incremental payment. And that increment must not be more than 15% of the old rent. There are laws. Do you know that in Enugu State, there's what we call the rent tribunal, whereby when a landlord is exorbitantly increasing rent, you can go to the rent tribunal and bring a case before the landlord and tell the law that the landlord is astronomically increasing rent. Where are the rent tribunal? At the absence of the rent tribunal, people should also make it known to the government that we need a law also in Enugu State that should regulate what? Agency, lawyer fee, caution fee, and all other antecedent charges that have been like a kind of a yoke on the neck of tenants to assess what tenantable premises to dwell in. It's a going concern, and I don't think it's something that we should approach it with ban and it's a reactionary measure. We should be proactive with a legislation that will look at it in a short term and also in a long term, thereby solving the problem once in a while. You can be an agent. You can be an agent, okay? It's a freelance something. You can be an agent. Once you have a couple of agents that trust you, or rather, people that own a real estate that trust you, they can decide to liaise with you to bring in tenants who are responsible, tenants who have capacity to pay, tenants who will not default as and when due. You understand? All they want is credibility. So they shouldn't just base it on banning these things. No. There's a whole lot of businesses that needs to go here. You understand? And banning, I don't think on a short term will meet the demands of the people. It will make the business more challenging, and people will end up paying more because the government is not thinking ahead. They're just thinking on the immediate problem that people are complaining, and that is not a realistic approach to business line. I think they should, look at it from a prolific and also from a long-term thinking, so that they can solve both the short-term challenges and also the long-term challenges that people are facing. That's my thought on this whole thing.
Yeah, Barrister Chidi, since you think this is a reactionary measure,
yeah,
what do you think agents in Ebonyi State should do right now so that we won't have render lots of people jobless come 2026?
Okay, I think agents in Ebonyi State now should come together. If they don't have an association, it's high time they registered one. So if they have an association, they should call on other people who are into this business to come together as a group, you understand, and try to see how they can articulate their business line out on a black and white, make it unknown for people to look at, send it as a kind of a business plan to the governor, and demand to talk to the commissioner of commerce. There's a commissioner of commerce in the Ebonyi State. Demand to talk to him. Demand to talk to the people who are in charge of internally generated revenue. You understand? Demand to talk to them. Be realistic. You understand? This is a business line. If you are going to benefit from the lands that belongs to the state, if you're going to benefit from houses that are located within the territorial integrity of a state, you understand? One way or the other, your business has to be known. It has to be registered, and you're going to pay tax back to the government. So as you are taking up a certain percentage from the tenants, mind you, the landlord are totally absolved here. Are you aware? Come on, the landlords are totally absolved here. It is the tenant that pays the bill. Okay, so as you are benefiting from this tenant, a certain percentage should also go to the government. And if the tenant knows that an agent does not pay to the government, there's no need to patronize him. You understand? So this is a whole circle of business that we think if we bring in the best brain and the good mind into it, it will be articulated into an internally generated revenue that the government will never say no to. So I'm calling on all agents in Ebonyi State to come together under one umbrella, bring together best brain, try to seek to talk to the government before the expiration of the last day of December 2025, so that they can still be relevant, they can sell their services to the government, and they can decide, or rather make up their mind to abide by any regulation that will come out by the government. Let there be let there be a conversation, let there be the discussion on this, okay? Let it not be an outright ban. Let it not be hijacked by politicians, and before you know it now, people are now paying triple or more than what they have been paying before. They will even prefer, you understand, that they have dealt with all other agents that were banned than what the government will roll out with, because the agency business is an organic business. You can't just wake up one day and ban it, okay? It's like subsidy.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Chidi,
Thanks for
joining
having
us
me
on the Eastern Business Report.
Always a pleasure.
And that's the much you can take on the Eastern Business Report today. Until I see you tomorrow for another edition of the Afia Business Morning, I am Marvelous Apwamaga. Many thanks for watching.